So today, what do you want to talk about?
It's a Fogo day. So Fogo is always a good day.
Yeah. If you don't know, Fogo de Chao, all you can eat Brazilian steakhouse. Amazing.
They actually have it in the U.S. too, but it's like a third of the price in Mexico. So we go at least weekly. That's just kind of a nice boys' night. And I suppose maybe we can talk about that. You know, we cover the dating topics all the time on the channel, but it is really important to make sure that you have a solid friend group of guys, especially.
Yeah.
I think especially in more of kind of the Western society, North American cultures, those spaces have been really taken away. There's nowhere where you can really just go and then sit down with a solid group of guys and then talk about guy stuff. So, for example, it'll probably be like weightlifting or money or crypto or maybe a degree of politics. But you'll notice that most red-blooded American men kind of share similar opinions on those things. And unfortunately, a lot of times, especially in the digital world, those spaces are closed out to just regular dudes.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, if you go back to the States and you try to talk about dating and all that stuff, like, it'll just get awkward.
It's people think it's weird.
I know.
It's like we're men with testosterone running through our veins, but we can't talk about dating.
Yeah, gross, right?
Okay.
So crazy, man.
Can't talk about what we're up to, the trials and tribulations of life.
Yes. And I know for me, like, I don't know about you, but when I started getting into dating, I actually kind of stopped hanging out with friends so much. So I think this is a good topic because what happened was that I forgot how, like, having a good network of guys, how great it can be. And I went so hard with dating. I was hanging out with girls all the time and it was awesome. But I realized, like, I was almost like becoming a bit of a woman. Like, I was just surrounded by female.
I was just going to say that. I've done that too. Especially when you start getting really good at dating, it's really hard to, like, when you have all of these options, obviously, okay, well, I want to go out with girls and I want to have more feminine energy in my life. But you do need that counterbalance. I believe, especially from an energy state, that a lot of people, we kind of take on a charge of the energy around us. So it's great to be around feminine energy. I like operating, especially in my professional life, in the masculine most of the time. Although I always joke when I work with corporate clients, I'm like Mr. Billy Beta because you kind of have to do that in modern society. But every now and then you just need to take a break from that type of more of the softer energy. Get around the boys, just let back, let loose, fart, belch, all that good stuff. Although I was thinking the other day, I was with the girl who I've been seeing for like 3.5, 4 years now. And I think we went to Fogo. Yeah, I think she went to Fogo with us the last time we went to Fogo. And I was in bed. I was pretty gassy. And I was just ripping wind on her. And she was laughing. It's kind of like you get to a point when you're in a relationship to where you become comfortable. So it's kind of like, it's like your little sister, like, a girlfriend you grew up with or something. And it reminds me when I was in high school, I asked a buddy with my first high school girlfriend, said, how do you know if you're in love with the girl? He's like, well, if the relationship's built to last, or you're actually in love and you can start ripping ass on her. You can start farting on her.
Nice.
And I thought it was a joke at the time, but now I'm like, oh yeah. And it's more so like comfortability. We're humans, our bodies do humanly things, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. But when you're on the first date, probably not the best idea to just drift wind down at your girl.
Man, dude, there's been so many times I'm like having to suck back in farts on a date. I'm just like, by the end of the date, like my stomach hurts, and I'm like I make sure she falls asleep. I go to the bathroom. I just start ripping ass for like 5 minutes. It feels so good.
There's an old South Park episode. I think it was in like the first or second season, way back in the day. So I'm kind of dating myself here, to where the premise was that people were spontaneously combusting, and they did intensive research as to why. And it's because the men were holding in their farts, and they just.
So we got a super chat from Danny's World Fan. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. We'll eat some steak tonight.
Yeah, in celebration.
Yeah. Got some homies. Hello, Switchy. What up, Switchy? What is this? Good question. We're a dating.
It's a live stream. Yeah, Mexpat Dating. So we help guys, primarily digital nomads, entrepreneurs, guys who source all of their income remotely, who are looking to escape the grind of Western culture, North American cultures, wherever you're at in the world, to ultimately help them relocate for just a better lifestyle in Mexico all around. Obviously, dating is a huge part of that. There are a multitude of reasons, which we've covered on the channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. You'll see the videos start popping up in your feed as to why men that have more of a preference towards Latinos ultimately choose to do the geoarbitrage in location independence. Move to Mexico full-time. A lot of our guys are actually in a hybrid model. So maybe they're based in New York, Miami, California. They come down whenever they can, and then ultimately they're inching towards spending most of their time in Mexico. So we're actually based in Mexico City. I ran that hybrid model for years, and then eventually just pulled the plug and came down here full-time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and what happened, Jaron invited me down here, and I was like working on my dating and kind of getting into it.
He was a coaching client.
Yeah, I booked him for a call. Best $250 I ever spent.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, dude, coming here was just like an awakening, a sexual awakening, because I suddenly could date the way I wanted to. Like in the States, I put in a lot of work to get a few dates.
Yeah.
And here I just came in 2 weeks. I was seeing like 4 different girls that were all significantly better looking than any girl I had dated in the USA.
And cool. Just nice to be around in general.
Friendly, fun. Like they like looked at you like you were attractive and like all that stuff. And it's just something. I went to a speed dating event last night. Our other partner,
how was that?
Dude.
I actually, we haven't. Yeah, it's the first time we've seen each other since then.
Yeah, so I went with Emiliano, who's our third partner in this, and it was like kind of sad. Like that's what I felt the first time, because I was.
Does it fit the stereotype? Because speed dating was a thing in the '90s, and you'd see it in movies every now and then, and it was always disastrous.
Dude, I felt worse for the girls, because it's like a hot girl has so many options. Yeah. And they were all there. There was 15 girls and 15 guys.
Oh, nice.
And so we were all there for speed dating, and we were there to find clients, but like, and I was the first one there, and I felt like such a loser because there's like 6 girls, and I'm just like, dude, like.
I mean, how were the girls in terms of demographics?
So the girls were really nice. So there was a lot of girls from the States. Like one of the girls went to her uncle. It was a cross country coach of the college I went to, UW-Madison.
Oh, that's cool.
So she's kind of famous, and her like family's famous. So that was cool. But in terms of like attractiveness, not the greatest. The dudes were. I would listen to some of the conversations, and they would just talk and talk and talk, and they just like, yeah.
That's a mistake most guys make. You lay out the resume. It's like at a job interview too. You kind of want to lead the conversation, but you want to leave a lot of room for them to speak to really understand what it is they're looking for, and then align your responses to hit the bullet points. Obviously, you don't want to lie. You don't want to embellish. We never promote that on this channel. Present the best version of yourself, but leave space for the conversation to naturally develop.
Yes, absolutely. Like, and I could tell like a lot of the guys couldn't read the girls. So like the girls were just kind of like, okay, man, like you've been talking to me for 8 minutes straight, and he just kept going. And he was just so excited to be talking to the girl. It was super cringe, man. And here's the crazy part. Okay, so it was $25 to go. And what happened is at the end, you vote for the top 4 people you like.
Okay. And then if there's any matches, then they exchange information? Or?
No, here's what they do. So they do the next day, they send out everybody like, hey, you got 4 matches. If you want to find out who they are, send us 50.
Oh, there's an upcharge.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Crazy, bro.
That's a cool. They must not have heard of Tinder then.
No, I think that's where they got it from.
Oh, gotcha. It's a Tinder funnel. Yeah.
And so I got like 4 matches. One of them was like the last girl. I'm just like, write my name down. I'll write your name down. And then I randomly chose 3 other people because I forgot.
Yeah, who they were.
I got a girl's number who does Invisalign at a dentist. So we do got a connect there.
I need a new retainer. I have the same retainer from when I got my braces off.
Dude, I'll see if we can get a discount. Like I'll hit her up. I'm like, I want Invisalign.
My retainer is literally, it's 23 years old.
Okay.
And it looks like a retainer that's 23 years old.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty gross, but nice straight teeth.
I'll hit her up. She says she does like pretty cheap versus like,
Yeah, I hit up my orthodontist back where I grew up as a kid years ago. He's like, oh, we don't have the molds anymore. I'm just like, all right.
Yep. Yeah. And then, continuing on with the speed dating. And I mean, like, it's like a feminist women, like all that kind of thing. Like, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Again, I don't know for those of you who might be younger, if you're familiar with the stereotype of what speed dating typically looks like, but typically people that have to do speed dating because other avenues don't work for them.
Yeah, that was exactly it. That was exactly. You felt bad. You felt bad for the girls. You literally felt bad for the girls, and like they're all like, "Yeah, I'm single. Yeah, I'm single. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I go to the gym." Like just like the same conversation. I'm just like,
were they fit? Were they in decent shape, or could you tell that they kind of had been ran rough and left up?
It was like I think it was like an 80-20. There's one that was like really smoking, but she was a single mom and she was Ukrainian. So there's 2 Ukrainians there, and I got super excited because I'm like, I love Ukraine.
I actually matched Ukrainian earlier. It was super cool. Yeah.
But they're traumatized Ukrainians. They're not the fun, feminine Ukrainian that used to be.
That we see in Eastern Europe. Yeah.
Yep. Well, even those are a little bit traumatized.
When I was in Poland, a lot of them, they're refugees. Exactly. Like a lot of them, unfortunately, their husbands are no longer with us because of the recent conflict there. So, Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation. Or there's one I ran into when I was in Turkey. And she asked me, it was the weirdest thing because Turkey, like, it's not a moderate country like the internet forms lead you to believe. It is an extremist Muslim country. They don't tell you that until you get there and you're like, oh shit, these people don't like me. Met this Ukrainian girl and like in public at a restaurant, she's like, hey, this might seem really weird. She's like, but I have like a growth on the side of my breast. Like, can you feel it? Give me an opinion. I'm like, good God, girl, like go to a doctor. And she's like, oh, well, they won't see me because I don't have a husband or da da da. And she's like, can you like go to the hospital with me? I was like, yeah, I'll do that favor for you. But it was like,
that's cancer, bro.
Yeah, we didn't even hook up. Like she was like, I was like, she was concerned about her health, rightfully so. I was like, yeah, I'll help you. Like you have to get that taken care of. I'm not a medical doctor by any means, but if I felt a growth like that anywhere on my body, I'd be like, whoa, straight to the doctor.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever I feel those on my balls, dude, I'm straight to the doctor.
Yeah. Oh, those are your testicles, my friend.
No, that's what those are. Damn. I was like, why do girls like play with my growth, my cancerous growth?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's two of them. Yeah, I got twins there.
So we got K8 700. What are your body counts? I'm at a couple thousand. What are you at? 5,000.
I don't know if I want to say that publicly.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not at a couple.
I can do my year to day. I'm in the high triple digits. Let's say that. I've been scaling back. Although for me, I ran a volume model for a long time. So for me, what I consider scaling back is still higher than most guys' lifetime accounts. When I say scaling back, I refer to just the energy put into it. So one thing you'll notice, the less energy you put into this, once you get it, the more the results come in. It's almost annoying. It's like the way you guys envision how kind of hot girls are. They get a text like, oh, this guy again. It's kind of like that. And girls go crazy too. They'll stalk you. They'll blow up your Instagram. They'll call you all the time. They're always wanting attention. So that's a good sign. But there is such thing in this area, like anything in life, where you can have too much of a good thing. So ultimately, it will start to distract a lot of your time and attention if you're not careful. So you really have to scale back, start focusing more on quality over quantity. But in doing so, the girls that might fall in the quantity category all of a sudden come full force.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't have to try. No.
I haven't had to try for years.
It's pretty cool.
But the reason I'm still involved is because, we do help guys that are kind of newer to these types of situations. So it's always actively on your mind. So you can't really turn it off 100% per se.
Correct.
But it's like, okay, I don't need to be going out and doing it physically. I can still get that dopamine hit helping other people do that, which it's kind of like if you ever played sports before. Eventually you get to the point where knees start giving out, joints start creaking. You'll see, the NFL, like, oh, he's 35 years old. He's over the hill. What's he still doing in the league? So usually after that point, they retire. They go to the announcer booth or, they start coaching O-line, D-line coach or whatever and work their way up. Somehow still remain involved in the organization. So that's kind of where I'm at. But mine is quite high.
Yeah,
you can DM me and I'll give you the exact number. But
eventually you want to deviate from that too. Like you don't want to fall into like sex addiction, which is a thing. It's really going to have consequences down the line. The ability to pair bond and connect with other people goes down for sure. So I know I have to take breaks. I have to take breaks and like come back into myself, do some recovery work. I just talked with my sponsor. I have a sponsor for one of the relationship recoveries, and we went through some of the step work. So I feel like really good and like plugged in today. So yeah, you guys are gonna have your own journey. I think again, we help guys that are more maybe if they've had experience, but really high net worth guys, right? So guys that have made a lot of money, guys that are retirees, expat, digital nomads, and they're like kind of just ready to start settling down or just get back into dating. Maybe they've taken a break. And that's really what we can help you guys with, is figuring out how to get your dating life going again and use your money to your advantage. Because as you see, so many guys lead with money. We recently had a client.
Yeah, don't do that.
And every time he took him out for dinner.
In fact, a lot of guys do that because they don't know any better, or we see the same things over and over again. Over texting, we do work with guys that have higher volume, but they want to start to head more into that quality category, as I mentioned earlier. We help those guys out, or even guys that are newer that. I focus on the digital apps. I'm a digital marketer by trade. I work with a lot of the Fortune 100 companies in my own kind of professional practice. And I just apply the same principles to that in terms of presenting your best digital image to where once you have the infrastructure or the funnel set up, you really don't have to do anything. They just come on through, which again, too much of a good thing. You have to know how to how to handle that quantity.
Yeah, I was going to finish my point here.
Go for it.
Just one second, on the money. So a lot of guys, they make a lot of money. They finally become financially successful. And they're like, cool, now I can take her out to fancy restaurants, I can buy her things. And that is just a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for her seeing you as a money guy. You're not going to attract the best quality women, to be honest, because a girl that really likes you for you will be fine going out to the park, going out to go for a walk, just something really chill. And what I found too is that the relationships that last the longest typically start with something more platonic. They don't go right to the sex, because then the foundation of the relationship is based on that, right? And it becomes harder to create that deeper connection. So if you are a rich guy or like somebody with a lot of money and you're thinking about getting back into the dating, be very careful with how you use your money. We even say don't even tell them what they do. Just say like, make something up. Like I wash car windows, or I'm a lawnmower, something like that, right? And then when she finds out about your money down the line, once you guys have built a connection and she likes you, it's going to be like the cherry on top. And that's really when you can start to share it a little bit, right? Bring it out, take her on a nice trip here and there. But the guys that start off with leading with the money, the girls are in and out, just like that. Never last. So we have Mark here. I'm from Ukraine. I know what you were talking about. We have a different mentality here. Yeah, man, Ukraine's fucking, I think it's fantastic. I was in Poland last year and I dated a Ukrainian woman and she was awesome, super feminine, super sweet. And my goal, my dream was to eventually live in Ukraine, but you can't do that right now. So I'm definitely going to Ukraine eventually. I'm not sure about you, but
I'd like to go there too. Yeah, I have plenty of buddies from there. Maybe not necessarily from there, like guys I grew up with in the area I grew up with. We had a lot of Russians and Ukrainians that came out like end of the Cold War, or early mid 90s or so. We had a wave of Russian and Ukrainian migrants. Real cool guys, just good, honest, hard workers, just down to earth guys. So I've only heard good things about it. I had a real good buddy for years in San Diego. He actually owns a place here in Mexico somewhere, who's from Ukraine, always spoke well of it. And then I've dated a handful of Ukrainian women too, and I've always had great experiences.
Yeah, they're super fantastic. L Boy says you guys make a great gay couple. Thank you so much.
I know we actually match clothes.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, we have a group chat that's like we always joke it's like the official Mexpat dating uniform. Like, okay, black V-neck, although this one's not a V, it's a circle one, and then like white shoes, chino pants, or whatever.
Easy. I think L Boy's a little jealous, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Although I'm curious, leave in the comments who'd be the top or the bottom.
Shut up.
You're the power bottom. It's just because I'm bigger.
True. Yeah, just by default, I'll take that. I'm a slender guy. So
yeah, you're a smooth operator.
I'm
a suave, svelte man.
We got Catherine Smith. The guy in the back is attractive. There you go.
Sweet.
Hit him up. You can find his Instagram. What lube do you use?
What is it?
What lube do you use?
Oh, Haktua, dude. That girl made millions of dollars from that meme, and then actually did a pump and dump kind of meme coin. So yeah, that's all. It's all about the saliva.
That's crazy, bro.
Or sweat. Like the guys don't downplay the foreplay. I mean, I'm not going to get too explicit, but I was with a girl recently, and it's been hot here in Mexico City lately. So by the time we got to it, we were both just dripping in sweat, and that's actually kind of nice because in that case, you don't really need the lube.
Yeah, dude. Fucking just she's wet, dude. If she's wet, that's all you need.
Yeah, this place turns into a sauna. We're on a high floor here.
Oh my god. What are you guys for dating? Talk more about dating in Mexico, please. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to drop any specific questions.
Yeah, guys, leave your questions there. I think in general, the purpose of this channel is that we work with a lot of guys that are they've already gotten to the logical conclusion that they're fed up with things in the West, whether that be it's harder to get ahead. The more effort you put into life, it seems like the worse you're getting out of it. I lived in California for years, and my professional life is the same way. The more money I made, it seemed like the harder it was for me to get to the next level. And then in dating too. So personally, I do really well in the US. I do advocate, guys, before you think, okay, I'm just going to go abroad and that'll solve all my problems. Immediately, you will get higher sexual market value points. There will be a bit of geoarbitrage. You will have like the foreigner effect. But at the end of the day, you still kind of have to know what you're doing. So I did really well in California. I'd say California is one of those places that in my early days, it was on hard mode. But now if I go back to you hear hard mode cities like LA, Miami, New York, London, you eventually get to the point where those cities are the easiest cities. But I went through the ringer in my formative years in the dating space, so to speak, in those harder demographics. And then when you come abroad or really anywhere in the world, it's just a lot easier. And the way you'll hear other content creators describe it this way too. In the US, it seems like when it comes to dating, you have to put a lot more effort in on the front end for a lot less return. So a lot more overcoming obstacles, a lot more back and forth, a lot of witty banter, which is really just ball busting or shit talking. And that's when you're a guy on your purpose and you have things going on in other areas of your life, you really want someone just to come and complement that. I always say I look for a girl who's collaborative, not combative. I have enough combative people in my professional life. I don't really need to come home and deal with that when my living space should be full of peace and tranquility, relaxation, and just general calmness all around. And when you do get to the point where you can attract that kind of woman into your life, I always say that feminine energy, it's a force amplifier. So it just makes things a lot easier. Men and women are meant to go together. If you can look at the physical hardware and see, like when you're a little kid, you're playing with little toys. We have to put the shapes in there. For whatever reason, in modern society, a lot of people don't understand that. It's pretty obvious. You can look in the world and all your answers are really just right in front of you in your physical world. So in Mexico in general, there's other benefits too. Geoarbitrage, cost of living's a bit lower here. The food is fantastic. The weather's great, although we've had a heat wave lately after a cold spell. People are just happy in general. Of course, like any country, there are downsides, but you have to weigh those pros and cons and then determine, okay, what fits the idealized version of my life best? And for me, I did a checklist of 10, 12 items. Mexico City, I think it checked 10 of the 12 items. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and make a go at this.
Yeah, man. I mean, spot on. Like, especially the peace, right? And I think in the States, a lot of guys find like, I mean, you listen to just the conversation, just going to a supermarket, and it's complaining. It's the guy getting reamed out or something. And I mean, the guys aren't innocent either because they're kind of just soft. Yes,
They enable it.
Yep.
Yep. No one will do anything to you that you don't allow them to do.
Yep. And you come down here, and I know for me, and I know you've probably learned this too, is that it's just like we don't tolerate that behavior. If we're getting like mouthy behavior, if we're getting masculine behavior from a woman, it's just like no, like you can go home. Like
the cool thing is,
time for this.
You don't have to tolerate it because it just never happens. It's very rare that someone steps out of line. I think I had a girl yesterday. She was texting me, and we hadn't even met up yet, but she kept doing like, hey, I just want to know, like, you can't pay for my love or affection, or you can't. I'm like, I don't do that anyways. Not interested in that. She brought it up like 3 times. And then she sent me a paragraph. She's like, just want to let you know, like, I'm strong and I'm successful. I make my own money. You don't have to pay for my trips or lunch or dinner or any of that stuff. I'm like, cool. Like, I was just looking to get to know you for a walk in the park at a coffee date and see where things go from there. Like, just kind of keep it cool, calm, and collected when you approach these things, because you don't know who the other person is. You don't know what she's going to be like. And she sent me like this long paragraph, and all my brain told me is like trauma. Red flag.
Yeah.
Be careful with this one. And I told her, I was like, hey, I don't know at what point you thought that I might be that type of guy. I think you've clearly misread me. I've made it clear time and time again, I don't do that kind of stuff. So I think it's best we don't meet up. Then she sent me another paragraph. Well, I just want to let you know you're ugly and your muscles are gross and I'm not attracted to you. And I can get a famous singer. And I'm like, okay, cool. Good job. But that's stuff you'd see more in the US. I use that as an example because it happens so rarely here that all you can really do is just laugh. You're like, poor girl, I wish her the best, but she's not going to find what she's looking for with that kind of attitude.
That's like a guy like sending a girl like, by the way, I have huge muscles and I can bench 225. Like, just it's like you're just digging yourself a hole. And unfortunately, yeah, that's just kind of the state of the world. But again, we don't even worry about that because we're in a place where you rarely come across that. And if you do, you can sniff it. We always say experience is the key to growth in dating. And so every time you just see that, you just like your body just reacts negatively. It's like
you identify patterns. Yeah, you see it
grasses.
coming from a mile away.
Okay, so no, you didn't. Who bums who? Here I. What's up, bud? Let's see. Narcissist, I digress. What if a person? Okay. All right, General the Warts. Go to ChatGPT. That'll answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are some weird questions, bro. I think
we got some fun ones.
This is the theme of the live stream. We got some.
Yeah,
some of you guys are cool. But
for the worst thing, if you guys are in the U.S., you should get the HPV shot. Insurance companies used to not cover it for men, but now they do, at least when I still had health coverage back in the U.S. So check your insurance plan if you have it. Just get it. I think back when I was growing up, like 90s, early 2000s, it was something. I used to watch Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. And Dr. Drew would always say, like, oh, HPV, like, most people have it and they don't know it. Now it's completely preventable. It's the Gardasil shot. Just go get it. If you don't have health insurance, it's a couple $100. Go to Planned Parenthood. If you're income restricted, they'll put you on a sliding scale and take care of it. But definitely take care of your sexual health. I know that question is probably a joke, but if you're going to play the game, it's like playing any sport. You want to make sure that you take care of your preventative health.
Yeah, 100%. Eugene Krabs was up, homie. The real bro Hamadia. How do you land dates over text? That's a great question, man. This is something that, Jaron, you helped me with a lot when I came down here. Having a good opener is the start, right? So a lot of guys, they start with the, hey, what's up? Hey, great to meet you. Hey, how's it going, right? And they start to try to have that conversation over text. You want to balance out being funny and flirty with also being normal, right? Because you don't want to come in like, send me a tit pic or something like that. Like, just overly over the top.
I hear from so many girls, a lot of guys do that.
Really?
The opener is just a dick pic.
Really? Oh.
And then, because I'll ask girls like, hey, what's your experience been like on the app? And like, oh, I was on it for 3 days and immediately got off. And girls, I get matches all the time. Girls will be like, I can't stand this app. You seem cool. Like, hit me up. I'm closing my account. I'm like, all right, now I got you. And I know what experience she's had because I have experience. I've talked to enough girls, and we do have the channels that gives us an advantage. We have female clients and we have girls in our network, so they'll share their dating stories. And we get on girls a lot, for bad behavior. But you guys are, I've never sent a dick pic as an opening message. That's kind of a no-no. But we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. And I think ultimately, kind of to get back to your point, is at the end of the day, she just wants to know what you're doing.
Yeah. She wants to, calibration. Wants to know that you're not a weirdo. The second part of your question, man. So what we always say, like, our opener is something like, I guess if you translate it, it'd be staying out of trouble. So ours is estás portándote bien, which is, are you behaving well? So it doesn't, translate the best in English, but if you're, in an English speaking country, you can just say, hey, staying out of trouble. I think it's a great one, right? It's fun. It's flirty. It's not, boring, because a lot of girls get the same boring. Hey, what's up? Hey, how are you? Hey, you're so pretty.
It's vague too. It's left open to interpretation.
Yeah, definitely. And I would suggest, man, hop on a call with us. We'd be happy to, kind of dive into that a little more and kind of figure out how maybe you can start locking down some more dates with your texts. Because I always say, at least when you're in the maybe more beginner stages, dates are won and lost in text. So many girls will like you in cold approach. So many girls will vibe you, but if the text is off or you're not calibrated in that, they'll walk away.
Do you maybe want to get into some common mistakes? So anytime we get a coaching client, I'll tell them like, oh, I was doing really well with this girl. And then I think we did a video last summer on this. It's doing really well with this girl, and all of a sudden things fizzled out, or she seemed to lose interest. And I was like, send me the screenshots. And I always tell guys, I had a client that I met up in person here in Mexico City last week. Send me the screenshots, or in this case, he pulled up on the phone. I don't even need to read the message. I can see paragraphs of text to one-word answers from her, or the guy, 18 emojis, just an okay or a thumbs up from her. So don't do that.
No emoji,
this comes from sales. Text or the phones for setting appointments.
Yeah.
Save all of that for the first date, but you still have to move the conversation forward. So approach it from a sales and marketing standpoint, to where you want to leave breadcrumbs, which moves them further along that logical conversion path. But sometimes girls they'll start trying to have that conversation in text too. Me as a guy who has a lot of options with girls, it's probably the same way girls view this is, I know she doesn't have experience. It's going to be a pain. She's following a set script in terms of how this needs to pan out, what it needs to look like, rather than I did a couple of cold approaches today. I don't do active cold approach sessions, but I take the mentality of like, hey, this girl's obviously into me. I was at the gym, following me around everywhere. Every time she walked past, had a little less clothing on, looked at me, smiled, bitter lip. I'm like, okay, gym's my sanctuary. I don't game there, but this one is clearly interested. She's made it abundantly clear. But I approached her from the mindset like, hey, let's see what's up. Like what's this girl about? What's she got going on? And then for me, I'm trying to vet, like, is she cool? Is she someone I want to hang out with? Because I do a lot of cool shit in my life. I have a lot of outside hobbies and interests. And for me to offer to give you that time and space in my physical life, you have to be a better option than me playing guitar, me going to Fogo with the boys, or me going on a jog, or me getting in the car and cruising out to the mountains with the top down.
For sure. But dude, and 100%, bro. Like, I met this super cool girl just walking to this poker thing the other night. Super cute. And we were setting up a date, and I looked at my schedule. I'm like, oh, I'm actually not free till like next week. And it was kind of cool. I was just like, oh, yeah, I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
She's like, sure. So yeah, making sure that, she's someone you want to invite to your life. Now, if you're beginning, we always say get as much experience as you can. Maybe she's
Yeah.
not your 9 or 10, maybe she's a solid 7 for you, but go on the date because she'll teach you what you need to know. She'll teach you what it's like to be around a girl and not super excited, right? Because that's kind of what you want to have excitement, but a lot of guys, we all have been there. Like we just get too excited when we're the first girl we go on a date with that's super hot. So we have to learn how to be calm and controlled in like a high pressure situation and really take her off the pedestal.
Mhm. And learn to look past the beauty too. Again, my mindset's always like, is she cool? Do I vibe with this chick?
Mm. Yeah, you're good at that. I'm Korean, and we're like looks is really important to like our biology. It's like a whole culture thing. So I'm always like looks are super important to me. So she has to like kind of get that itch for me like sexually, right? But that's okay. But she has to have both, right? She has to be cool too. She can't be a nutter or whatever.
And a lot of times here, there is that foreign effect. Based on whatever country you go to, there are different racial preferences. I didn't make the rules. I'm just reporting the news. But a lot of times, and it depends on what camp you fall into. But anywhere you go in the world, a lot of guys are like, oh, well, I can't date because of my height or my income or my ethnicity or my race or my religion or my background. Pretty much anywhere you go, like there are going to be a small subset of the population is going to be really into whatever it is that you bring to the table. So,
Yeah.
However, you have to be careful, especially when you live outside of your host country, because a lot of times you fall into this like this fetishization. Oh, I can't say that word. You fall into a fetish effect. So women see like, okay, this girl's really into me, but. And then that's why the dating process is so important. Eventually, you hang out a couple of times, like, okay, does she actually like me for me to, or am I a trophy for her to take to her family events or her social events, or does she have this little itch, like, I wonder what it's like to be insert XYZ type guy, and do I fit in that box so she can check that? Yep, been with a guy like him, but maybe not interested for the long haul. You need to learn how to suss these things out and cite them. That's not saying you can't go for it. Right. Every now and then, especially if I'm traveling and I'm somewhere, I was like, hey, this girl's really into me and she knows I'm in town for only 2 days. Like, obviously it's a fling. Obviously it's a one-time thing. Obviously it's pure carnal attraction and it's probably not going to go the distance. That's absolutely fine. But you need to know kind of where guys take the lead in your dating life. You become the selector, you become the chooser. Of course, you do have to present the best version of yourself, looks max, geo max, all that type of stuff. Doesn't mean you have to do exactly what I did. We're all different human beings, but find the best version of yourself, put that out there, and then you'll decide, okay, where does this girl fit into my box? Is she looking for what I'm looking for? Maybe it's situational a lot of times. If you're at a music festival and you have a six-pack and you're jacked and your shirt's off, some girl pulls up her bikini top and presses her tits against you. Like, oh, probably a fling. Probably not going to go home and introduce her to grandma and grandpa. Probably not going to put babies in her. Maybe if that's what you're looking for, but for me, maybe not. Whereas, as Joel mentioned earlier, like if it's a social game's a huge thing here in Mexico because they go out in giant social groups. It's almost always mixed company. So if a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, all of a sudden she starts coming into your periphery, and then you build comfort together, and you see each other time and time again at these events or these hangouts, or these social situations, and eventually you don't really have to do anything. You'll just kind of come together. Well, maybe that's a little more suitable for the longer term. But you need to understand, okay, where ideally am I going to fit her into my life, if at all? And then also have the insight to go the other way. Like, how does she see me? How do I fit into her life? Potentially.
Well
how is she perceiving me?
Well said, man. I think I couldn't agree more. And it is, it's a journey. It's a journey to figure this out for yourself. We all have different tastes. There's girls that are going to be in Jaren's box that won't be in my box, and vice versa, right? So I think it's kind of figuring out for yourself, and obviously we say experience, but that's a really important thing to learn, because you might find a girl that really is in your box. Like you're like, she checks all my boxes, I'm in. But for her, you're just the foreigner. You're just maybe you're not that. Maybe you're just a guy you want to go on a date with. And
maybe all the foreigners are in her box, which means she can't be in your box.
Yeah. Don't go to discourse. So if you are in Mexico City, you get that joke. So figuring out that where you are in that, I guess the hierarchy of her is really going to help you stay emotionally attached, because the most painful thing for a guy is when you find a girl that you really like and never once was she like, this is my guy. She's like, oh, this is going to be a fun time. And I mean, God forbid, I've had this multiple times. It's probably been my biggest lesson is I've fallen for girls that are not compatible with me for a long-term relationship, but I try to force it. And as soon as I try to force it, they don't like that, and they're out, in one day, out the other. And so I've gotten a lot better at compartmentalizing where a girl is going to fall in my life. So I met a girl yesterday, and she was perfectly fit into a fun, going to have a great time, maybe go on some trips, hook up a lot. And I'm just like, that's exactly what I want right now. Perfect. Like, awesome. I don't know if we're very compatible in terms of like she smokes weed. I don't like, there's a bunch of different incompatibilities there. But in terms of the chemistry sexually, it was awesome. So I'm going to let that one roll. Now, I'm curious on this one for your thoughts, Sharon, because what I still find, if I find a girl that I think could be like, if someone held it against my head and it's like, you have to be with this girl forever, I would be like, it's not the worst thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
When I meet a girl like that, I kind of still struggle to let myself be like, just not care, right? I think I catch myself caring a little bit too much, and I treat them a little different on the date. Like I'm a little more like cautious, not as like, yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
With that, I think ultimately it comes down to experience. They used to always say back in the day before these types of channels existed, fatherly advice from like our grandparents' generation. Oh, you got to play the field a bit and then settle down. But that doesn't mean you have to go out and smash your way through the entire town or do super high risk behaviors or anything. But so get out there and get experience. Feel people out, and then understand. Okay, who am I? How do I show up in the world? How am I perceived? What is it that I want? What is it that she wants? And then do those two things align. And I think a lot of times, especially like we've all had heartbreaks before. I haven't had one in a long time because I think I'm more. Again, my focus is in other things, so it's more like, hey, literally, I'll go out and about, and they like the gym girl today they just pop up, big beautiful round. Oh, hey, sweetie, like what are you doing? But I woke up this morning not expecting to meet the love of my life. I have a checklist of things that I need to achieve today, my micro goals that eventually snowball into my macro goals. But if she happens to show up and okay, like you said earlier, it's a cherry on top. And, if we find that we spend more physical time together and then things click and there's chemistry and then ultimately those deeper level emotions in a natural relationship that has long-term compatibility that's able to go the distance, if that starts to naturally unravel and evolve, then yeah, fantastic. I'm not necessarily looking for that, but I'm certainly not going to say no to that either. And I think approaching, at least for me personally, I've realized approaching dating from that mindset just makes it a lot easier because guys, if you're newer, this might not make sense, but eventually you get to the point where the same pressure that we've put on girls in the past, they'll start to put that on you. And it is really uncomfortable blowing up your phone all the time, calling you at weird hours, literally showing up to the house, popping up wherever you're going, negative type stuff. Oh, why didn't you call me back? And I'm just like, well, chill. Like I've got things going on, there will be time and space for you. But now with this negative energy, you're literally pushing me away. I don't want to do that. And a lot of times, guys, when you've gone through like really turbulent breakups or just bad relationships, I use this analogy all the time on the channel. Again, if you're new, subscribe. You'll see more videos pop in your feed. Join more of these live streams, book a call, all that good stuff. But it's really because you probably don't know her well enough to know if you're really, truly compatible in the longer term. But she hits all those boxes, and it's a chemical effect too. She's like, oh my God, she's my perfect prototype. Guys, girls have prototypes of types of guys they like too, but for whatever reason, your brain starts to go on hyperdrive. You get these crazy dopamine hits, and then you start to future forecast. You start to play out a fantasy. You start to build this mental image of what it is our lives are going to look like together. And then when reality doesn't match that, that's where the hurt comes in. But if you take it day by day, like, oh, this chick seems super cool. Yeah, I'll get her number. And, obviously I'm a guy, especially in these Latin cultures, you have to take the lead. I'll put it out there like, hey, I notice you're interested. You're physically in my face the entire gym workout and nobody else was there except for us. And I can see what you're lifting. Like your routine doesn't make sense. And I know your trainer because he's my buddy and I know he wouldn't give you that routine. So it's pretty obvious. Like, all right, yeah, sweetheart, give me your number and I'm busy too. I'm not free till next week. And then if something happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, then I'm just going to go on my path the same way I intended on doing when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, man. Ooh, lot to digest there.
I know. Yeah. That was a mouthful.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're spot on. As soon as you start thinking about how good she's going to look in your Instagram in 3 years, you've lost. As soon as you thought,
I'll have to purge my Instagram.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to experience and finding out, I think, what is a good match for you. And kind of my thought on this, and the more experience I get, the more I really do believe that it sounds cliche, but when you're in a spot to be able to date at that level, that's the level you'll receive.
Yeah.
So I know for me, I'm working on my money, I'm working on my health, my business, all that stuff, this business, my friendships and stuff. So I just feel that like the universe doesn't want me to have like a girlfriend right now, because it would take up too much time that I need to be putting into these other areas. And I think when my mentor, so we both, we get support too. It's, we practice what we preach. He always says like, dude, if you can just wait like 3-5 years from now, you're going to be able to get that girl you really want, and you're going to be able to keep her. But if you go now, you'll lock down your faithful 7, but I don't think you want that faithful 7. I'm like, no, I don't. I want my 9. I want my 9.
Well, and when you're evolving too, you need someone who's actually evolving with you. So I remember some of the hardest breakups are the ones where, they're not like the relationships where, oh, she cheated on me, or she stole my money, or she keyed my car. I can't believe that. Yeah, those ones suck. But when you do find a girl and like you're really compatible, but your long-term vision just doesn't match. So
yeah,
I had a girl I dated years ago, and I was in kind of a low point when she came after me. And I kept evolving. I had a bigger vision of what I wanted my life to look like. And she was completely happy with where we started. So eventually, and then she was growing too in her own ways, but we weren't growing in the same direction. So we kind of outgrew each other. And that was a really tough conversation, because she was a solid girlfriend, had no problems, had, great communicator, always available, high level of physical attraction. It's just the longer you're in the relationship, the further in the future you have to look. And the further we looked in the future, we realized that our paths diverged more and more in terms of what we both wanted in life. So
sure.
that was a real tough one. And then again, it really comes back to, I say initial attraction is about, yes, attraction, but availability is a huge one too. You can't have one without the other. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we're attracted to each other, but we're just passing through time and space. I always say airports. I always do really well at airports, but she's heading to San Francisco and I'm heading to Miami, and we have a layover in Denver. I don't know why I'd never book an itinerary like that. But for example, we're like, okay, yeah, we'll exchange information. Instagram's a powerful lead nurture tool. In that case, like, hey, if it ever looks like we're crossing paths, let's link up. And that does happen every now and then, but in most cases it doesn't. Or I was an easy example last night. As I was going to bed, it was probably like 9:30 or 10 or something. A girl, same thing, Instagram powerful lead nurture. I think I'd posted a story recently. She's like, oh, girl I'd probably matched on some app or met in real life years ago at some event. I don't even know where she came from, but dropped my DM. She's like, hey, like, I'm in your neighborhood. I'm just passing through town. I'm with a girlfriend of mine. She's real cute. We're at a nightclub here in the area. Come meet up with us. Let's have some drinks. We'll see where the night goes. And 20-year-old me would have been like, oh my, no, 20-year-old me wouldn't have known how to do this. But eventually you get to the point where, guys, I used to get frustrated too. Oh my God, she brought a friend on the date. What is she doing? She expected me to pay for her and her girlfriend. You eventually get to the point where like, oh, she brought a friend on her date. Like, fun time for all of us, because there's a certain way to set this up to end up in your favor later in the night. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. So my brain, and it's hard because you have to say no, but like my brain started going, I know exactly what that night could look like if I wanted it to, but I'm in bed by 10 and I get up early and I have a very set routine and schedule throughout the day. So it's like, God, and she was hot. So it's like, oh, it would have been really fun, but I'm not looking to go out to a nightclub and drink and have loud music and lights in my eyes and then get to bed late. And then no matter what time I go to sleep, I get up the same exact time. So be sleep deprived, be off my shit for today. Just wasn't interested in that. And then just let the girl know that like, hey, I'm busy with work. I got a lot of stuff going on, let me know when you're actually free if you want to hook up and do something chill, or hook up in the sense of like meet up and do something chill. And just leave it like that. I always like to leave the ball in their court. She threw out an offer. I rejected the offer. I gave her a counter offer. So she knows, and she's attractive. She was at a nightclub last night. She has multiple offers, but at some point she's like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm not really a party girl either. I kind of want to do some chill shit with this guy that, I initially invited to go out with me. Great. She'll come through. And if not, then don't allocate mental energy to it. Just go about your life, do your thing. And I always say, the dating market, they call it a market for a reason. You're buying and selling and bidding on multiple offers.
Yeah, man.
We have some comments. Those are so small. I can't see it.
I think hold on one sec, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
For, experience rise, right? And we're talking about, finding when you're ready to actually meet someone. That's what we find a lot of guys come down here for, is to find a kind of, eventually settle down. And I think if you are somebody of high net worth, if you have gotten your money right, which is the kind of guys we work with, you're in a position where you're more ready to be able to receive that into your life. So that's what we help you guys with. Amir, if you can check out his testimonial, he got a girlfriend. He's head over heels, and their relationship's going great. Really, that's what we look to give you to help you guys get, because although keeping a relationship is something different than just picking them up, you gotta start by just saying hello or getting on the dating apps, swiping, right? And we're here to help you guys with that, and we really enjoy doing it. So I think we'll kind of wrap up here. We'll read some of the comments, and then if you guys do want some one-on-one support, you can schedule a call with us. I'll hop on a call with you. We'll figure out what's going on in your dating life and where your biggest bottlenecks are, and then how we can best assist you to overcome those. So
I'll say real quick, the cool thing is no matter where you're at in your journey, a lot of you guys already have an idea of like you have some strategy, but maybe it's not the most optimal strategy. So you're already a percentage of the way there. Maybe some of you, maybe 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%. What we're really good at too is helping you identify the things that are working and then double down on those. And then removing, and a lot of you guys are a lot closer than you think, removing those few things that are getting in the way or maybe giving you actually the opposite effect of what you want in the dating realm. And then replacing, I'm thinking in Spanish, reemplazar, replacing some of those thought patterns or those mental hangups with things that actually do work. And of course, every client, every person is an individual. So you may be looking for different things than the other guy. There may be certain things that you do want to do versus don't want to do. We'll help you identify those things, put together the best strategy, personalized, custom tailored for you, and then ultimately get you what you want. And then again, as Joel mentioned, Amir's testimony is fantastic. Most guys, and we work with girls too, although they're less of our audience. Most people we work with in general, they get the results a lot quicker than they want because again, it's just like gym, it's just like finance, it's just like job search, it's just like any potential challenge you have in your life. You're already a percentage of the way there. You just have to fill in those gaps, which is what we're here to help you do.
absolutely, man, absolutely. And if you are a guy of 100K and up, we definitely recommend you guys to book that call, which is how much you make in a year. Typically, we don't do one-on-one support with anybody under that. But if you do still want some help and you're not quite at that level, we do have a dating course that we'd be happy to share with you and kind of talk you through about potentially getting into. It's at a much lower price point, and it's going to help you kind of get the ball rolling.
It gives you a full framework.
Yep, absolutely. So schedule a call now. Let's get okay. So Narcissus says,
yeah, we can read the fun ones too.
Yeah, right?
I was on radio back when I was a kid, so I used to love getting the prank calls. Again, I'm dating myself. I used to prank call too, but guys, if you're gonna troll us, you better come at us good.
Yeah, amen. We got a good one here.
Oh,
Narcissus says, I think you guys got to get on a live stream with Mr. Lucario. Yeah, we'll definitely check him out, man.
All right,
Thanks
cool.
for the suggestion. Okay.
If you know him, actually, feel free to do a warm introduction. I think our socials are there in the description, or hit us up with your information. We'll reach out, and yeah, definitely love to collaborate more.
And the best one here, pin bones. Y'all have physical time together. The other was like, let me shift my arm around him. This is a pause. Pin and bones.
No,
says,
it's tough.
You're talking about.
No, on that comment, it's tough because with these live streams, guys, YouTube is prioritizing these more in the algorithm. So from earlier days in the channel, we used to talk about topics that kind of got us pushed down the algorithm, but they're prioritizing these more. However, the camera has to be an iPhone or
never defend this. Yeah, just you agree with them because they're trolling, right? You can't give them that win.
No. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play with trolls. But these cameras, they're like this, so you have to cram into frame, which is really funny. So we actually joke about that too.
No, dude, we're fucking not straight, dude. You got it, Pin and Bones. How'd you fucking know? Thought y'all were fucking. I'm caught up. Who got dumped? I think Pin and Bones wants some action, man. I think that's what he's getting at here.
It's funny how like low key, like legit gay guys come to these channels, which is cool. If that's your thing, this isn't that type of channel. But people that are like that girl I told you yesterday. Oh, I don't let any man pay me or do whatever. I'm like, cool, I'm not that guy. So, bro, you seem really into that stuff. That's awesome. You do
yeah,
you.
Get it, bro.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll take the love and the algorithm and the marketing analytics. But there might be better channels out there for you. I don't know necessarily where to send you though.
Yeah, so Elliot Cruz says, "Are you guys lovers?" I think him and Pin and Bones might need to have a connect.
Yes.
Did we just matchmake?
Pen and Bones. That's actually a funny name. Pen and Bones hit up Elliot, lover, whatever, and make beautiful online digital babies.
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah. Love does not have to be man and woman, right? It can be man.
Again,
man.
It's not one of those channels, guys. You might be lost. I'm sure it just popped up in your feed. Just click not interested. You won't see these topics anymore. But if you're into that stuff, super cool. You do you. Everyone deserves love and to be happy.
Yeah, right. Now I got a good amount of some of my first mentors were gay guys, and they were really
okay. Pen and Bones, maybe you have a point.
No, man, I have some people in my network are I used to call them queer, and just the coolest people, man. It's just about finding what you're comfortable with, and then learning how to optimize that and fit in the world. So yeah, I know we make a ton of gay jokes, but dude, like fucking some of my closest people in my life are queer, and they can't help me on man to woman dating advice, but
they can help you with other areas.
Other stuff, yeah, like the mentality of support and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it doesn't matter where you are, like what you're looking for. And there's a huge queer network in Mexico City, and some of the guys have actually asked for help at times. We're just like, yeah, man, probably not. Probably find some other help. But we got another one from Pinball. Nah, I'm trolling. When I logged on, it seems like you two were together, but I'm caught up. I'm not gay.
Oh no, no. I always say that these are fun. So it's just like we say. In dating, you got to get practice. So when guys are new to the content game, and the content game is a game too. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe that guy said that or whatever. But just like you said, this is like 90s internet terminology. Don't feed the trolls, but I like to play with them. Like I was a young kid, and I used to call into radio stations, and I was actually pretty good at prank phone calls. So that was our equivalent of trolling back in the day, especially if you don't got shit going on. Like go to the gym, get up on your dating life, book a call with us. Ideally, fill your void time with productive activities, or maybe fill your void time with the void of a woman who loves you and cherishes you and is attracted to you and all that good stuff. But I definitely trolls are fun every now and then.
Yeah. Or a dude.
I was a little shit when I was younger, so I know karma's real. It'll come back around, and it does.
Yeah. What was we had it wasn't Omegle yet. It's similar to Omegle where you like swipe on just like. It's like someone pops up and then you swipe on them and you can talk to them. Someone put it in the chat. It's not
Chatterbait.
Something similar. And what's it fucking called? I can't remember. What should I eat for dinner? Or Captain D's it is. Dude, you and dude, I think we got a three-way. Zara, Pin and Bones, and fucking.
We're not matchmakers, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
if you'll end up getting married, you let us know. Send an invite. I always tell people when because I travel a lot. People they always say it friendly, like, oh, if you're ever in France, you have a place to stay. I'm like, bro, I'm literally going to show up. So if y'all get married, send us the invite. We'll show up.
We'll applaud you. Send us a super chat.
We'll bring some lovely Latinas, and it'll be a good gay all time for us.
Nice. Well, on that note, guys, I think
for dinner, Fogo, steak, whatever. Tonight's a Fogo night.
Yeah, dude, Fogo's the best, man. But once again, guys, if you're making 100K or more and you are looking to level up your dating life, if you're thinking about leaving the West, coming down to Mexico City or a more traditional country, hit us up for sure. We'd be happy to help you through that process. We got all kinds of things like relocation packages, help you with insurance, getting an apartment, kind of all the main stuff you need to start living here. And then if you're not at that level yet, once again, hit us up and maybe DM us on Instagram, and we can connect you with our dating course, which is going to help you at least get the ball rolling. But other than that, Jared, anything else on your end?
No, it's time for Fogo. Yeah, we got a reservation here soon.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I never know how to sign off.
Yeah, I know, it's awkward. Really good last one. Do you think having Trump in the office, the dynamic of dating in general, will get back on track? No. In terms of dating, it's gone so far down that it's going to take probably 10 years to get back to some sort of normalcy, and that's of intense traditional values, but I think it's too.
I agree with that too. So for those of you who don't know me personally, I used to be considerably overweight, and I lost 100 pounds of fat in a year and then got into the gym and all that. But you'll notice, and when clients do book me for significant weight loss, and I always tell them it comes off about as fast as it went on. So the U.S. has been slowly in a decline. It's been accelerating over recent years. I think internet has definitely helped facilitate that. But since I heard my grandparents say the last true Democrat was John F. Kennedy, and we all know what happened to him. So about the mid-1960s is when things started going in the wrong direction. I think if that's the idealized version of going back to the good old days, whatever times those were, although people still cheated, there was still infidelity in marriages, there's still heartache and heartbreak and all sorts of financial problems. But whatever your ideal is, however long it took us to deviate from that, it'll take roughly the same to send us back. What I do think Trump will do, I think he's going to stop the bleeding. I don't think he's going to fix everything. I think he's just going to perform triage. Like you get in a car accident, you go into ER. It's like, let's just keep this patient alive, and then we'll work on the long-term recovery plan.
I like that, man. Yeah, he's doing some good things for crypto, though. Although I made some bad trades today, but it happens. Part of the game, right?
My portfolio is looking healthy, so
just like with Chica's. Yeah, I got this one. It went up 100% today. and I got excited and I sold, and then it went up even more. So I'm like kind of kicking myself a little bit. But hey, you live and you learn. It's free money. So anyway, guys, with that one, we'll catch you guys soon. Peace out.